We are in Cancun, Mexico, and I'm here with two of my mentors, Rowan Miller and Gavin McDonald. How much did you make your first year as just a producer?
136,000.
The rookie producer, I just produced, no business. I was able to make over $100,000 while in school full time.
We all collectively, so we had to kill that old lifestyle and completely turn a new leaf.
So when I first came in, I was at the tip of a 19-year-old. Party, bad habits. If I'm gonna get something done, I'm just gonna do it myself.
And this opportunity can change your life in every single way if you're just willing to go all in and not give up. What is going on, everyone? So as you guys can see, we are in Cancun, Mexico for our company convention, and they sent us all out here on an all expenses, all inclusive, paid for trip for just being top producers, top leaders in the company. And I'm here with two of my mentors, Rowan Miller and Gavin McDonald. So we're gonna dive into their journey in this life insurance industry and in our business and our company and on our team specifically. Accomplishments, achievements, what they've been able to do in a short amount of time. So you guys can get an inside, raw look into how they think, how they operate on a daily basis, and how they've been able to not only change their life financially, but also as well mentally, physically, spiritually. So you guys are gonna get inside look into exactly how they've been able to do that, how I've been able to do it, and you guys are gonna be able to see that this is a real opportunity, a legit opportunity, and if you go all in, it can change your life. Appreciate you guys being here.
Yes, sir.
I just wanna first kind of dive into both of your guys' stories, right? And you guys, appreciate you both for changing my life and what you've been able to do for me and, teach me and all that. Gav, let's start with your story, your background, where you're from, how you got into the business, and tell them a little bit about yourself.
So I grew up in Queens, New York, and I had run to the University of Tampa for a year. And I really found this business by chance. It was a series of tough events being a freshman in college, to put it simply. I broke my leg. And at that time, I was a bartender, so I couldn't work in the bars anymore with the broken leg. My old roommate got a DM from somebody that worked here. Opened it, a couple months leave, but a couple of months on home for me. And really just put me on. All I really needed to see was Spencer's driving a Lamborghini, and I was like, all right, they could be selling socks. I don't really even know what they're doing. But basically from there, just took the jump, ended up dropping out of college, and that it's been running, going on 12 years strong.
Yes, sir. So started in college, broke bartender. I'm actually very, very similar in that aspect. 3-4 years later, now we're here. And we'll touch on what you've been able to accomplish and everything in a second. Rowan, you've been in the business 3-4 years, right? How long have you been in the business?
3 years.
3 years, going on 3 years. Tell them a little bit about your story, your background, what got you into the business, and where you're from and everything.
Yeah, so I'm from Connecticut, tiny town, 1,000 people in the town. I grew up just doing everything, landscaping. I was a housemaid for a while at a Hilton just like this. I did valet for a couple of years, but I'd never made over probably $200 in a week. I had maybe $50 in my bank account.
Come from money?
Not at all. No, I had maybe a couple $100 in my account when I started here. And I did door to door actually for one day doing pest control. Never do that. But I did it for one day, did door to door. Called my girlfriend. I said, I can't do this. And then I found Gavin on Instagram and LinkedIn.
Where at?
College.
College.
So we met at college. I kind of knew him mutually, and I know he had dropped out, and I was like, I'm still in school, but I got this guy I know that's making a bunch of money, and he doesn't even go to school anymore. He's making more than professors. So that's all I had to see. And then from that, I hit him up, and he was like, let's hopped on a call, and then hit it off from there. Got licensed, and I started from there, and
let's go.
The rest is history.
So as you guys can see, right, and I'll go into mine as well, my background and where I come from, but we're all very ordinary, normal people, and this opportunity can change your life in every single way if you're just willing to go all in and not give up, right? So a little bit about me. I'm from the East Coast of Florida. I'm 23. You guys are both 23, right, as well?
22.
We're all 22.
Yeah.
23 soon. So we're all 22, 23, right? Most of the people on our team are 20 to 25 as well. But I was from the East Coast, came over to go to USF in Tampa, did door-to-door in college, high-ticket sales, done a bunch of different type of sales, but never found a vehicle where we have our team culture that we do. There's no brotherhood. There's no long-term vehicle to scale, right? And I was just super lost. And then I found our company and our team and went all in, and now we're here, obviously almost a year later, and things have been amazing. So that's a little bit about us. Now, what I also want to touch on, right, is you guys have been in the business 2-3 years, right, going on 4. I've been in the business coming up on a year now. Both of these guys actually, so we have a stage, right, with awards and everything. When we all come to convention, it's everyone under Globe Life. They were both on stage. They both won awards for being top producers, top leaders, and being able to accomplish a lot in the company. So Gavin, you can go over like achievements, right? What you've been able to accomplish, like your journey in the business as well, and maybe a couple tips or ways of thinking or, mindset leadership advice that they can see and get an inside look into how you think, how you operate.
You really hit on it where it's just ordinary people. Because when I first came in, I was a typical 19-year-old, like party, bad habits, stuff like that. So my first year in the business, I just sold. I didn't want to build a team. I wanted nothing to do with it. I just wanted to make money, get out of the way that I am is if I'm going to get something done, I'm just going to do it myself. So that was my mindset on the first year.
And how much did you make your first year? No team, not doing any leadership. How much did you make your first year as just a producer?
136,000.
136K. And is that all profit, commission? Do we pay for leads?
No.
Go into that. As you guys know, right? You guys have seen everything we talk about. Our company doesn't pay for leads. The leads are given to us completely for free. We're able to make sales and make commission and be able to make a bunch of money without having to have any expenses.
I think a lot of times, especially being a leader now, being a leader is so important because what I didn't understand was the influence that you would eventually have on your people. And I had gotten put under somebody that taught me how to think, what the problem, the way to live was. I'm stopped going out, it stopped doing all of that shit. And then pretty much from there, I was like, all right, this person had that influence on me. I want to be able to do that for others. And so this is when Rowan came in. I started to build my own team. Rowan came in. And then our first year, we did pretty well. I think that year you got number 1 GA.
Yeah, I was number 1. Yeah.
We're the number 1 GA team, which is the second level of management of business. So we went from 10 months prior, it's just me, Rowan, and somebody else, and then to being one of the number 1 teams. And then the second year, which was last year in leadership, this is why we're at convention, is because we got the number 1 rookie on GA team. And the accomplishment of that was, 1, we broke the agency's rookie MGA record.
Yes, sir.
That was long-standing since I got to the business. And that was actually my first awards where I saw them. They broke the record. So in my head, I was like, there's no way in hell we're not going to go rape that.
You got to do it. And what was the record that we broke as a collective team?
So it was 2.4 million. We did 2.9.
Yes, sir. So
it's net. Not submitted. Nah.
Net business. So probably submitted 4 million, close to 4 million or more. 3.1. So netted basically right under 3 million and broke the rookie record. You also said something that stuck out to me. You said you found a mentor, taught you the way to live, how you think. Because you guys see, right, watches, flashy watches, cars and everything, right? You guys see the financial aspect and the money, but what people don't see is who you become in the process, the way that you change your way of thinking, your mindset. We're all in the gym early. We have a great team culture. Everyone's hustling, competitive, young. When you said you found a mentor, right, which shout out Spencer, all of our mentors, but when you say you found a mentor, he taught you how to think, how to live. If someone's watching this and they're maybe unfulfilled or they're lost or they don't have someone to show them what that looks like, what would you say is your biggest piece of advice to them on how to think and how to live?
How to live, it's pretty easy. Let's look at what you do every day. Does that bring you closer to your goals or farther? So, for example, being a leader, how I first thought about it was, if I'm going out partying and drinking, and you like to do that, means go ahead. But I'm not going to be the leader that's going out partying, drinking with my guys, because 1, it's going to lead them into trouble. Something's going to happen. But then 2, the way that I've thought about it is I could stop generation curses. So let's say if I drank all the time partying with these guys, well, maybe in 5-10 years when they have a family, just because, I didn't set a good example, they get into a car crash and they kill somebody. They kill themselves after a night of drinking, something like that. So it goes a lot deeper than just right now. Right now it's cool because we're sure that before we ended, but I'm talking about 10 years purpose and it freak us a lot. That it goes from how you sleep, how you eat, and everything like that. Another thing that's huge, and I know like the health industry has become huge nowadays, but it's really important because one, in like a performance-based business like we're in, your body's better and you're healthier, you're feeling better. Like one, yeah, we're gonna live longer, you feel lighter, but you're also gonna make more money. You're gonna think faster, think clearer. You have a lot of clarity, and then pretty much on those habits and what was the other?
Habits and just like the way to think, the way to live.
Embrace adversity, because
What do you mean by that?
no matter what, you are always going to get punched in the mouth in life. It could be something minor. It could be something like, for example, you guys might find this funny, but the housekeepers allegedly just stole my watch. It's like water off my back because
$50,000 watch.
Yeah. Not just.
because there was at one point where there's credit card debt and I had no money and didn't really have like a place to stay and stuff like that. So it's like my life could be way worse. So it's like embracing the adversity. So it's like, what am I going to get from this? And then just manually, people don't tell you this, but thinking positive is a manual thing because the negative thoughts come naturally. We're human beings. That shit's easy. And because human beings gravitate to comfort, the guy at church said this last week, boys resort to comfort, men find responsibility. Everything you do in life is a compound effect. No matter what it is, it could be personally, it could be the relationship with your girlfriend, again, the business, and it will show up every same day, the same effort. Even when you're not feeling good, eventually you're going to reap the fruits of that.
And you said, regardless of how you feel, right? That's what it takes to win and be 1% is showing up regardless how you feel and being disciplined and execute. That was a good word. Yes, sir. My dog Rowan. So I want to touch on award you got, like you guys saw, Gavin, we had the #1 team last year, right? He was the face of it, right? Leader of it. So great example to live by, ways to think, and just truly he's mentored me and Rowan both. So, and then as for Rowan, right? Tell them what your award and, what you got, the spotlight for last night, and then what you've been able to achieve in the business and, kind of like your journey in the business and how you've gotten to this point now where you're at.
Yep. So same thing as Gavin. My first year when I started, I was mainly a producer, my first 2 years, really. And last night I walked stage as a top 2 rookie producer in the entire company of American Income Life. If you don't know, Globe Life is the biggest life insurance company in the U.S. Tens of thousands of agents, billion-dollar company. And I was blessed enough to be the top 2 rookie producer of last year in 2025. And from there, same thing as Gavin. One way you do one thing is one way you do everything. So that has bled into us building a team. And now, me, Jacob, Gavin, we have almost collectively over 100 people under us that we've been blessed enough to teach them also how to be producers. And just like at my first year, I was a rookie producer. I just produced, no business. I was able to make over $100,000 while in school full time. Yep. I had 16 credits. I was taking 5 in-person classes every single day. And I only worked a couple hours a day, and I was able to make over $100,000 as a sophomore in college.
100%. I want to touch on that too, because like a lot of people are watching this. Maybe you're in school, right? Like I want you to dive into your schedule on a day-to-day basis when you were able to make over 6 figures as a full-time college student. And those weren't like online classes. Those were in person.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So what was your schedule like day to day? And because we have a couple other guys on the team, like you guys might have seen Owen Fisher, a couple other guys that are in school full time that crush it as well. Like, what does that schedule look like? And then also the mindset behind having priorities and having discipline on executing on that schedule. Like, what did that look like for you? And, how did that develop your way of thinking?
It's huge. And I know there's a lot of guys that we bring on that are from school, and they might not be able to do what we did, because they don't have the discipline and they're not willing to do the schedule. But if you're willing to do the schedule and willing to work hard, it is so doable. And honestly, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's very, very simple. What I did though, personally, I would split up my work brain and my school brain. That's what I tell everybody. So when I'm doing school, you do school. My grades actually got better when I worked here because I went from, like Gavin, partying and doing this and that and things that really didn't help me at all to...
Didn't move the needle.
And didn't move the needle at all, because once you start doing one thing one way, like I started doing really, really good at this job, and that bled into my schoolwork. Like I had more discipline studying, tests, and my brain altogether was just, I was higher performing individual, to be honest. So it was my school brain and my work brain. So when I was at school, it was school time. I was studying, doing homework, doing this and that, but it was in my schedule exactly. And if I didn't stick to my schedule, I can't expect anything. So I would wake up, go to school, I'd hit the gym in between classes, I would study in between classes from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and then from 3 to 9, it was this. So it was split up completely, half and half. I was definitely part-time. I know, like nowadays, we really need to take like all-in people because it takes, if you want to make a lot of money, you got to go all in and you got to be willing to put your cards on the table and go all in completely. I wish I was able to 3 years ago go all in off the rip because I made $100K my first year. My second year,
Hell, I would have made $250,000 your first year.
I would have made $250,000 easily my first year, but of course I had school, so it was holding me back. My second year, I quadrupled that to $400,000 because I left school. I was a senior, so there was less classes, and I was able to go all in. So once you're able to go all in, that's when you can see the people like me, Jacob, Gavin, Spencer making millions of dollars in a year. People ask, how is it possible? They don't see everything in the back. You know, we're working so hard. We put all this time and effort in. So if you're able to work hard, you can make $1 million very simply.
100%. And you said something too that stuck with me. Like, you can't expect to make a change and live a new life with your old habits. You have to kill the boy to become the man. So both of you guys, right, and me as well, same situation. Like, you know, broke college bartender, drinking, partying multiple times a week. Like, we all collectively, all three of us, we had to kill that old lifestyle, right? And kill who we were, the way we thought, our habits, our vices, right? We had to kill all of those things and completely turn a new leaf,
right?
And do a 180 because,
like,
and the reason I bring it up that way is because, like, you said something that you had to stop partying, you had to stop doing all of these things. What is a piece of advice or a good word you want to say to someone that want to make a change and make a bunch of money and change their life financially and all other aspects, but they're scared to make that leap, or they're holding on to old habits, old relationships, old people? Like, what would you say to that person, to yourself 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, to, you know, kind of expedite that process and just take that leap?
Right. Two things. First off, I would say, I said it before, one way you do one thing is one way you do everything.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to go out and be a degenerate, I'm going to be a degenerate. I'm going to be surrounded by degenerates. And second off, which leads into my next thing, you have to surround yourself with the right people. I'm sure you guys have all heard, you know, if you surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you become the 6th.
Yep.
But if you surround yourself with 5 like crackheads or addicts or anything like that, you'll be the 6th addict. It's just natural. It's human instinct that you're going to mold into that person. You don't want to be that person, but if you stick around with those people for long enough, you'll become what you don't want to become. Same thing, vice versa though. If you want to be wealthy, if you want to have a good physique, if you want to be in the gym, this and that, surround yourself with people in the gym. Yeah. Surround yourself with people that make a lot of money. For example, they'll go to Gold's Gym in Tampa. And when I first started, I couldn't even imagine paying $120 a month for a gym membership. Yep. I was paying $10 at Planet Fitness for so long. But now I get it, because I'll get out of the gym and there's Lambos, Ferraris, McLarens out front. I'll be like, this is why I pay more money, because I surround myself with people like me. Yep. And I want to surround myself with people like that. So that's the biggest thing, is surround yourself with people that you want to become.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, the main thing. Environment is key, right? Killing your old self. And, you know, you guys have seen, like, if you guys dive into his Instagram, right? And you guys see all the flashy stuff, but what you guys don't see is the people they've become and I've become and the way that we think. And, you know, that's more important than the money. Like Spencer, our leader, right? He made $4 million last year. He didn't make $4 million because some stroke of luck, right? Because, like you said, daily, right, momentum, daily consistency compounds over time, and you have to become the person worthy of making that money, and you'll attract it. Right. So just going to go over like our biggest months, maybe ALP wise or income wise, and then kind of just, you know, if anyone has any last words or anything they want to say. What was your biggest month in the business in income, and team production and income, and, you know, just like your biggest record month?
Income, 127,000 in month.
All profit?
Team, 508 net.
And that's what you made in your first year. You made 118 or 136?
136 first year.
136,000 first year, and you made 127,000, so $9,000 less than what you made in your whole first year. managed thing going on this year. So that just goes to show, like, a lot of people, they come into the business and they're like, oh, I didn't see results, or I'm not making 5K a week right away, you know, and they're a month or two in and they lack vision and they lack the ability to push through adversity, like you were saying, to be able to, like, if you would have quit in your first year when you had no manager and you were facing adversity, you wouldn't have made 6 figures in a month.
John knows where I like being harsh. There's one thing I'll throw in there. People get distracted by the dollar sign. They don't focus on the process. So even if you're not great your first couple of months, if you're progressively getting better, but then also just like a student of the game, learn the craft. It's like what we're in is a profession. So you have to have a professional skill set to make professional income.
We're mental professional athletes. So, and then as for Rowan, right, what was your biggest month in income, biggest month in personal production as a producer?
Biggest month of income was, I think, 95,000 this January. That was from, honestly, building up a big team, mentoring, training. This is what people don't see, because you mentioned Spencer makes $4 million a year, and Gavin will make over $1 million a year, me too. But it's a lot of time and effort that goes into training. It's not just about production. Yeah. So my team and I made 95,000, but that's a team. That's from team. When I was producing, though, I think my biggest month was maybe 75,000. And even at that point, I had still made, I was maybe 19 years old, and I made $60,000 that month.
That's the average 9 to 5. Honestly, above average. I think average 9 to 5 salaries, like.
Exactly. Okay. I made 1 month.
Yep. Okay, cool. And then my biggest month was in January. I think that was all of our biggest months.
Yep.
Life-changing month for all of us. Obviously, the money is nice, but it was like what it took, right, mentally, and, you know, opening raising our lid and opening our perspective. So I did $90,000 in January, all income, mostly all personal production. So it just goes to show that, if you guys work hard, right, I think the main things we can take away is if you work hard, you don't give up, and you focus on becoming the person that's worthy, the habits, the discipline, the way of thinking, then the money will come as a byproduct of that. So if you guys have any last words that you want to say, anything else that you have, or you guys got anything?
I know 3 years ago, this opportunity changed my life for sure. Like I said earlier, when we first started, I was doing valet, and we're at a resort right now. I used to work at one of these resorts making other people's beds, hoping for a tip for like $5. Nowadays, well, you lost your watch today, $50,000. First thing he said when he told me, he started laughing about it, because you have to think in abundance. So if he got upset about it, it's just going to continue bringing negative things. So it's a positive attitude and a positive mindset is going to breed a life like this. I think when I was working, making people's beds, I was like, I hate. I hate my life. I hate that I'm, penny pinching for tips and things like that. So if you're listening to this right now, even if you don't do what we do, start thinking in abundance, start thinking in a positive mindset, because a positive mindset will breed a positive lifestyle. If anything, that'd be the last thing I would want to say.
And if you don't know where to start, Proverbs is a good way to start. It's the book of wisdom. Just teaches you how to live a disciplined life. I know for a fact that's what guided me to be able to change my life. But yes, the company is fantastic. The examples you had are fantastic. But that's where it starts internally. And then on the other side of it, just start praying for things. Because, I can confident to say it. Everything that I've prayed for has happened to me. When it doesn't happen at your time, it's because you're not ready for it yet. When you are ready for it, it will happen in the correct time.
Deaf closed mouths don't get fed, and you got to ask to receive. And then, main thing is we got to speak it into existence. And proverb a day keeps the doctor away, for sure. But yeah, other than that, you guys can see, like, we're super, super blessed financially and, with being in a top resort in Cancun, Mexico. But you guys can now see, like, it's the way of thinking, our mindset, and who we've become over the past year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years that's led us to this point. So you guys are in a position, and like I was a year ago, like they were 2-3 years ago, where you're unfulfilled, you're broke, you're not happy, you're meant for more, but you don't know what that looks like, what that vehicle is, or where to start, right? At Rowan Miller on Instagram, at Gavin McDonald, at Jacob Scher. You guys can find us all on Instagram, and all of us have went all in on this opportunity. And you may be skeptical, you may be uncertain, right? There's always doubt, fear, uncertainty. But I had the same exact thing, as I'm sure you guys did as well. But if you're willing to go all in on an opportunity and change your life and work hard and be able to stay disciplined over a long period of time, you can get into a 7-figure opportunity where you can change your life, build wealth, and be able to, build something for your future. So with that being said, if you guys are interested in joining the team, right, we run an interview every single Monday at 8. I also run one-on-one interviews. So if you guys are interested in joining our team, getting around all of us, learning from us, and being mentored by us, DM us. We'll see if you're a good fit for the team. God is great. Let's get it.
Let's go.
Let's go.